Yeah, we're really excited to be here, to have you all in the room and to really have a really fun evening actually, and talk about RedGrid and talk about what we're doing with our crowd equity and talk about where we're going in the future. So I'm glad you guys like the video. That's the first time we've showed it, so that's very handy. Right, so RedGrid. This is where we've come from to this point today, is to understand why on earth are we actually even doing this thing. Now, we're not spring chickens, right? So we've been around, we've been working in different companies, doing different things. We're kind of old. Alex is the youngest one, so he brings our cumulative age down pretty well. But we as people are in this because we want to change something. And we love this quote from Robert Swan: the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. And I think that is really true, especially in today's world where we're always thinking about, okay, well, what's in it for me? How am I going to do this? And what we sort of saw here, I'm from background in climate change and worked for the UN and the World Bank, all these kind of different people, but nothing was really happening until I met these guys. Until I met the project at RedGrid and thought, this is what I can do to actually make a difference, to use exponential technology to deal with an exponential problem. And we have to deal with this problem. So I don't know if you guys have been following the news, but the heat wave that's in Europe, that bubble of hot air in Europe, is actually moving north over Greenland, and it's estimated that today, Thursday, will be the biggest single melt day ever recorded in Greenland. Today. Now that is petrifying. There's already 50 billion tons of ice that have gone into the sea this week in Greenland. That will cause a 0.1 millimeter rise in global sea level rise. 0.1 millimeter, okay, that's small, but you can actually see that. This is what we're dealing with. This is the severity of the issue. And this is why I jumped out of what I was doing and met these guys who really know what they're doing. I'm going to get on this. Because these two old geezers up here mean something to us. Do you know who they are? Guy on the left, on the right? Edison. Which one? On the right, correct. So that's Thomas Edison on the right. On the left is Alexander Graham Bell. Now, the funny thing is, these two guys came up with the telephone system and the electricity utility in the same decade, the 1880s. Now imagine how radical it would have been around to be in the 1880s when there are cowboys and horse and cart and stuff, and these guys come up with a telecommunication system and our energy system. Now, let's take Alexander Graham Bell and put him in today's world. He would have no idea what is going on with telecommunication. Because he'd look at an iPhone and have no idea what that is. That supercomputer in your pocket is nothing like what he envisaged. Take Thomas Edison, stick him in today's world, and he'd be pretty okay. He'd understand, oh, we've got fossil fuels, and we generate electricity, and we send it along wires to people's houses. That's pretty much what I envisaged. So we've got a new energy system that's 150 years old. That's what we have to change. We have to change this because our grid is under serious pressure. So we've seen this here. We've seen the problems that we're seeing under the grid at the moment: increased complexity, increased data. So the AEMO rules mean in 2021 there's going to be 5-minute settlements in the market. 2022 there's going to be the opportunity for aggregators to help make demand response happen. These rules are happening and changing because the grid cannot cope. We are seeing higher costs. We're seeing people pay higher bills, and of course we're still getting blackouts. So there is a challenge here. We have to deal with the grid issue so we can deal with a clean energy future. So what's our solution? Well, if you've seen any of our stuff, you'll know that the solution is we think we should have a brain inside every device, every appliance in your home, so we can make them smart, so they can talk to each other, so they can have an understanding and awareness of the other energy devices in that vicinity, understand who is demanding and who can provide it, and enable them to have a credit system, a reward for it. So what we do is we help people manage their energy better using artificial intelligence. We help the grid balance, and by doing that, the grid speaks to these devices and they can respond, and we give people a financial reward for that, a credit system that enables people to be incentivized for good behavior. So that's cool. We've got some excellent tech. Brilliant. That's fantastic. We're developing that at the moment. How's it going to happen? Well, the only way this is going to happen is with our team. And look, I was talking to Simon earlier today, and he was saying, "Oh, you feel nervous about tonight?" Like, I always feel nervous, but I actually really love getting up and having a group of people to talk with about something exciting. I said, "Oh, that's the most fun thing." No, wait a second. It's the second most fun thing. Because hanging out with these guys and doing this work is the most fun thing, because we've got people who are genuinely passionate about their field of expertise. So we've got people who used to lead blockchain for a major national bank. We've got Dylan, who spent a long time in commercial development and runs Melbourne's premier artificial intelligence agency. So we've got some incredible people, cybersecurity with Mike, there's incredible people involved in this team who know what they're doing and are all complementary in their skills. And like, I'm super lucky that I get to come and work with them every day. But that's what it means to take an idea into execution. A really good group of people. So what does the last year look like? So a quick year in review for us. So this is us with our mutual friend Pika Assam, who pulled us all together a year ago with some butcher's paper, deciding what we should try and do for our business. And that's how businesses start, right? You sit in a retreat, you try and make it happen. And then fast forward a month, and we get in touch with SoulShare. So I met Sebastian Groh, who's the managing director of SoulShare in Bangladesh, and he's involved in this big international accelerator called Free Electrons. And he says, we're trying to do this thing where we allow people with solar in Germany to donate specific money and specific value to people in Bangladesh. So a person with a solar cell can send a value to a woman who's a doctor in a village in Bangladesh. Can you help us with this? And I said, well, it's funny because we are just trying to do a similar thing at RedGrid. So we, over the next 2 months, 5 continents and a bunch of late night calls, put together the system that enabled that to happen. And then, lo and behold, about 2 months later, Sebastian was presenting this in Silicon Valley to a room of investors, and Simon's dulcet tones on the video, and you can see this, actually ringing out over that sea of investors saying, what happens is the token donation happens like this. And they were captivated by this, and because no one had really done it before. And we provided a really simple solution to make that happen. So they went on to win a UN award for energy access that year, and they won Free Electrons as well. Now, we weren't responsible for that, but we're involved in the project, and we're super proud to have them as our partners. Then we went into the University of Melbourne Power Shop Hackathon. We thought, okay, we'll give this a go, and we won that. That was pretty cool. But not only did we win it, we met some really good friends there. So we met Ed from Untitled Energy, who then started working. We started putting proposals in together to try and figure out how we can do business. So we actually met people through this that we actually started to work with. Then our most valued team member isn't Phil Beadle from Holochain, although he is very valued. It's the lemur in the middle, because we were then involved in the Arena A-Lab, which was a Melbourne Zoo. So if you think it's weird that we're sitting there with the lemur, they sent us out to do ideation in the lemur pen. Now, I don't know if that's because they thought RedGrid don't know what they're doing, so they get some advice from the lemurs, or they thought it's probably just a good idea to get outside, which it was. But this was us at A-Lab, and what this was, this incubator was about bringing ideas in to turn them into real businesses. And so we spent 4 days with Arena working out how we can come across a new product for them, and we basically started putting together a proposal that we'll be putting in with Arena relatively shortly. And then the real turning point came in November, where we were accepted into Startup Bootcamp Energy Australia. So that was 650 applicants, 10 got chosen, and we were one of the 10. And that meant that they took an investment in us as a company. And they backed us because we're a team that's working. And we're the youngest company by far involved in this pitching process. And we got in, and it was really exciting for us because it was about turning the idea into a real business. Not just a couple of guys on a whiteboard having some like funky ideas. This was about getting in front of major corporations like Energy Australia, like Spotless, and saying, how can we really provide value? And then a month after we finished the accelerator, we met the guys from 2040 because I saw an advanced screening of 2040. Have you seen 2040, the film? Yeah? What did you think? Awesome. Amazing. Pretty amazing, right? And I went to this advanced screening, I sat at the back, I was like, well, this will be cool, it's about climate change. I'm like, oh my God, the first quarter is SoulShare. Our friends from Bangladesh. And I'm like, wait, I was texting Sebastian saying, you guys are in the film, this is amazing, we should totally do something about this. So I grabbed Damon afterwards and said, we have to talk about this because we're trying to do the same thing in Australia, we need your help. So they jumped on board, we cut a video with them, we sent it out, you might have seen it on our website, it's the one with all the, looks like the things are talking to each other, that's it. But what it showed us is that there is a demand from the people to get this out there. That there is a demand from people who are not the energy utilities and not the major companies doing this, but from everybody who's got a house, who wants to participate in this new economy, but can't quite do it right now. So we focused as a business in the last year, we're small, right? We're tiny, we're really small. You're here because we're raising capital, right? Because we're a small startup. We're not one of those big companies that's going around being able to do lots of things, we have lots of capital in the bank to do it. What we did is we went out and we specifically targeted companies who would want to work with us, who we could do really good work for. So we did some initial work with Monash University to help them understand how they could put a distributed ledger into their system. We were working with Energy Australia to understand how we can orchestrate air conditioners out in the market, and doing some work with Spotless on how we can help them organize the energy between the different facilities. And then we would start a lot of conversations with different organizations, including collaborating with Telstra on Energy Exchange and Deloitte with open energy streams. And so we started seeing this real traction from the market, which was, you're a small startup, we want to see how we can do some work together. And that's why tonight I'm incredibly excited to announce that for the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to be working directly with Monash University to put RedGrid technology in throughout their entire smart energy ecosystem so we can start to see how we can create a really scalable solution for the world. This is a United Nations award-winning project. It won the Momentum for Change Award last year. It is the smart city that's going to show how we get to net zero emissions in 11 years. I mean, come on. That's where we need to be for climate change. That's where we need to be. Net zero by 10 years' time, by 2030. That's why we're incredibly proud to be the partner they've selected to come and put this technology into place with them. So what is this capital raise going to do? This is what we're here to talk about. Well, we talked a bit about it in the video. The three things it's going to do is going to accelerate our development. It's going to help us get our applications and products and services put together faster. We're going to halve the time with this raise. It's going to help us get out there and find more partners, work with more people. We've got people coming to us now since the 2040 raise from property developers, property managers, owners, corporations who say, we want to help, we want to be involved in this, how can we do it? Well, this capital raise gives us the ability to create those products so we can go to them and work with them directly. And it gives us a chance to get on that trajectory of our horizons. So we've got three horizons. The first one is working with project services like we're doing right now. The second one is moving to a subscription, software as a subscription basis. And the third one is transactions. The fact is, when we have enough of these machines talking to each other, we have a grid that's really intelligent because each device is intelligent on that grid. So that's what our capital raise will do. It'll help us accelerate our business. So what does it look like? Well, the capital raise that we're looking at is a maximum of $825,000. We're giving away 15% of the company for that as equity. And it is open because we're going through our partners at virtual to sophisticated and retail investors. So this means that we put together a bunch of documents that say all the risks and all the opportunities, but what this capital raise means is that you can invest in this. It doesn't matter who you are. You just have to read the documents and make sure you're happy with what's going on. The cool thing is we've had about just over $2 million worth of interest. So, thank you. $2 million of interest on expressions of interest already into our site. And that's really, really exciting. So it means there's a lot of people who really want to be involved. We had a launch that was scheduled for Monday. We're putting that back by a few days because this is an ASIC compliant launch. This is an ASIC compliant raise. So we're making sure all the documentation is totally covered. What this means is next week we'll be opening the raise. And this means, and the announcement I want to make tonight that's really important, we have a lot of people who want to put their money in. That's great. We're very excited about that. But you guys are here at the launch, and the people watching at home are here because you're really interested in what RedGrid is actually doing. And so we'd like to announce that for those of you who signed up and came through Eventbrite, and those of you who are watching at home who contact us, you guys are going to get an email in advance of everybody else about when we're opening the private window. So there's going to be a short private window that opens up where everyone who is in the kind of initial group who put their EOIs in can put their money in. So the public will happen afterwards, but we're going to send you guys an email way in advance to make sure you've got the early indication to get in. Because when we really think about this, I like this quote from Benjamin Disraeli, that is that history is made by those who show up. You showed up, people at home showed up, and we've showed up. And that's how we're going to change this. So we're really excited to have you involved to help us together build a cleaner energy future. Thank you.